Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, and we're on verse number 46 today. Yavanartha udapane sarvavatha samaplutodake tavan sarvesu vedesu brahmanasya vijanatah. Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake tvam sarvesu vedesu brahmanasya vijanatah. Yavanartha udapane sarvatha samplutodake tavan sarvesu vedesu brahmanasya vijanatah. Yavanartha udapane So we'll do the synonyms. Yavan, all that. Artataha is meant. Udapane, in a well of water. Sarvataha, in all respects. Samplutadake, in a great reservoir of water. Tavan, similarly. Sarvesu, in all. Vedesu, Vedic literatures. Brahmanasya, of the man. who knows the Supreme Brahman, Vijanataha, who is in complete knowledge. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So let's try to repeat this. All the purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karmakanda division of the Vedic literature are meant to encourage gradual development of self-realization. What are they meant for? Gradual development. Yes. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 15:15. Anybody knows? Yes, Sripati Prabhu. Sarvasyaham Sri Rini Sanivisto Jnanamapornamscha Vedascha Sarve. That verse, right? The purpose of studying the Vedas, wow, this is interesting now. What is the purpose of studying? Is to know Lord Krishna, the primeval cause of everything. So self-realization means, there's a definition here. So let's see what Prabhupada says here. Self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship with Him. What does it mean? Understanding Krishna and one's relationship with Him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 15:7. Very good. Say the verse, full verse. Sanatana Kani Karshati. Good. So that verse. The living entities are part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:33-7 as follows. Aho bhata svapachoto griyan yaj jivagre vartate nama tubhyam te push tapas te juhuvuhu sarsnur arya brahmanuchur nama granti ye te. O my Lord, a person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of a Chandala, the dog eater, is situated on the highest platform of self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals and studied the Vedic literatures many, many times, not once. Many, many times. After taking his bath in all the holy places of pilgrimage, such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of the Vedic rituals, nor is it possible to study all of the Vedanta and the Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge, and resources to execute the purpose of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy names of the Lord, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer of all the fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakashananda Saraswati, why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of studying the Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool, and thus asked him to chant the holy names of Lord Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of the Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of the Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy names of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadammayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Tam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we welcome everybody to today's class on the Gita. It's a very wonderful point that we are entering. Actually, we've already discussed much of it, but Krishna in today's verse is using poetry, is actually using a metaphor to conclude what he's already been discussing. He's using a wonderful example of a well that contains water and a flowing river of water. And we're going to see how, because Gita is sung, right? It's the song of God. So it also has a lot of poetry in it. And it is very beautifully using nature to describe things. But what's unique today is that although Krishna has used examples of nature, we'll see just now, but in today's example, he's using something that's not found in nature, but exists as part of Vedic culture. The well. It's not found naturally. It's actually man-made. And he's using this example because it's adapt to Vedic culture, as we would see. But why is he using it? to show that although it represents an aspect of Vedic culture, he's using this to show how the topmost aspect of understanding of Vedic culture is not the practice of the culture, but the point of remembering Krishna. This is the point of it, and we're going to see how. So, in understanding where we are, let's just give a little recap here, where we are. Yes. So, we are between verses 39 to 53, and it's this section where Krishna is countering which argument of Arjuna? What argument has Arjuna made that now Krishna is giving a counter argument to? CEDS? Every class we bring this point up, yeah? Yes, compassion, right? Yes, and sin. Yes, CEDS. Compassion, enjoyment, destruction of dynasty, and sin. So he's done compassion when he discussed the soul. And now he's explaining, he's done enjoyment also. And now he's explaining the sin part. That Arjuna, you're not going to incur sin. But Arjuna says, but I have to act. If I act, I'm going to incur sin. Then he says, right, you can act. But if you act in a spirit of detachment, this is a higher principle. What is that principle? That's karma yoga. Prior to this, he's explained, hey Arjuna, you can get the heavenly kingdom if you win. That's what all the opulences of the planet. Not only that, you'll get the heavenly kingdom even if you're killed here, because you're a Kshatriya. If Kshatriyas are killed, they go to the heavenly planets if they fight for Dharma. So you'll win either way. And then Krishna introduces this higher principle point that if one serves with the understanding of serving to Krishna as the object and the objective of the Gita, of the message of the Gita, then one can be freed from sin. So don't worry about the sin. Because right now, Arjuna is very worried about that. He doesn't want to commit sinful activity because he knows reaction of sin. So in this section that we're seeing here, Krishna it's a wonderful preaching technique. He's presented that which people are familiar with, which is karma kanda. And that is the basis of the Vedic philosophy. If you want something, there is a way to get it according to dharma, according to one level of dharma. You do it or you act in according to dharma as the Vedas is given, the ritualistic aspect of it, and you'll get the fruit of what you want. And Arjuna is being proposed that by Krishna. But what he's offering here in these verses is a counter to that. It's a contrast. And we're going to see how Krishna is contrasting this arguments that he himself is giving prior, the prior section. He himself gave these arguments. And now he's saying, indirectly, I'm going to give you something higher than this. I want to actually give you something higher than this. So it's acting but in detachment. So from 40 to 46, that section of verses, Krishna is describing how there's temporary and then there's elevation, that you can temporarily evolve compared to now what he's saying, eternal elevation. And there's a whole section of beautiful verses that we've just been through. Actually, each one of them is like a gem. Each one from 40 to right till the next one, 47. Each one is like a classic verse. You can just see the systematic way in which Krishna is developing his argument. So like from 40, we hear of this Neha Vikramanasa Pratyavayo na vidyate salpamasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. That there's no loss or diminution on this part, but there definitely is if you go for fruitive results. You get it and then you lose it. Once your fruitive result is expired, you lost it. But on this part, you don't lose it. So he's giving the counter to what he just told him in the previous one. In this path, what he's describing now, Karma Yoga, the previous one is in the modes of nature. This one is beyond the modes of nature. Where is the verse? Yesterday's verse. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Didondo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. That yes, this knowledge is there. It's in the modes. It's within the modes. If you're desiring something, a strong level of passion is there. But what I'm teaching you now, Traiguna Vishaya Veda, you have to go beyond the modes. So he's giving this contrast with if you place these verses alongside each other and the previous chapter, in the previous section, you just can see how Krishna is countering his own arguments. He's showing Arjuna, this is the higher aspect. So don't fear. Let's do one more. He shows how it's less intelligent versus more intelligent people. Now this is the essence of what today's verse expands, because today's verse is the metaphor. But where is the verse that Krishna actually spoke? He's just elaborating on what he's already said. So today's example of the well is just the picture at the end. The teaching came few verses prior, 42, 43. So I think I have it here, but I'd like you to also check it. Yeah, there's it here. Right? So you can read it, follow it in your book, so you can follow it here with me. If we see, I'd like to go word by word to see how Prabhupada has systematically broken down this argument of the understanding of what most people understand of what the Vedas is supposed to give us. And using Krishna's explanation of it, we see it's totally fruitive, it's totally opposite from what we think. If Veda means knowledge, everything's supposed to be within that. But what the Vedas is giving us is actually fruitive. It's not giving us the real essence, the real, the actual thing that's going to give us salvation, because it's not directly describing Krishna. So let's go through, we'll start from the synonyms and then come down to the translation. All right? So the first word there, yam, inam, all these. Pushpitam, flowery. Pushpa, flowery. So he's describing something. Flowery means, you add or you just exaggerate, use verbose language or creativity, poetry to try to explain something, but don't actually get to the essence of what it means. You just run around it with words like semantics, just playing around it with words, but give me the direct meaning, and then you realize it's not what I thought it was. Vachanam, words. Pravadhanti, says. And this is the root word here. Avipaschita, men with a poor fund of knowledge. Now what men are we talking about here? What men? Who are the people who are speaking the Vedas? Which caste of men? Brahmins. So they're not ordinary. They're Brahmanas. They're Brahmins. And Krishna is using this word, avipastita, which is a very, very, very strong word. And how does he describe them? Men with a poor fund of knowledge. If they know the Vedas, do they have a poor fund of knowledge? They know everything. But why are they not getting it? Because they're not glorifying Krishna. This is the point that Narada Muni brought out to Vyasadeva also. Yes, my dear sir, you've glorified, you've written so much, Mahabharata, so many things, all the Puranas, Upanishads, everything. But have you glorified Krishna? Have you spoken about Krishna? Did you tell the people, did you bring them to the point of understanding that Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam? If you haven't done that, then what? You have actually done an injustice, because they depending on you. They're depending on you to teach them. They don't have time to study all the Vedas. They don't have time. How many years did it take to learn Sanskrit? That's just to get the pronunciation. We'll see just now. there's 8 different aspects of chanting Sanskrit meters. And if you don't get the sound right, it could mean something else. It could mean something dangerously else. So, Krishna is saying this. He's very strongly criticized. They are Brahmins, yes, but they've missed the point. They've missed the point. Veda Vada Ratha. Supposed followers of the Vedas. How strong is that? You calling yourself a follower of the Vedas, you don't know who Krishna is? You supposed followers. You don't know the essence of the Vedas. You know about the Vedas, yes, but you don't know the Vedas. What is the goal of all this knowledge? You're accumulating so many years of study, everything. What is the point of it? Well, they lost it. Supposed. Look at Prabhupada's translation here. Very, very strong and very clear on what is the goal of the Vedas. Which is ending in today's analogy. Yeah? Partha, O son of Pritha, na, never, anyat, anything else, asti, there is, iti, this, thus, vidinat, the advocates, karma, this is another powerful word, kama atanat, desirous of sense gratification. So their atma, their soul is desiring something, but it's not Krishna, it's sense gratification. It's strong, very strong word. Svarga, paraha, this attaining to achieve the heavenly planets. Is that the goal of the Vedas? And is that the goal of life? To go to the heavenly planets? No, because Krishna just smashed Arjuna's argument just now, few verses back. This is not the highest point, because from there you have to come down again. So it's not the highest point. Then who knows what the highest point is? If the Brahmanas don't know, who is going to know? Because they are the one who's dispensing knowledge. This is why it's so important that you hear from a devotee, because you may think that, oh, they are Brahmanas, they must know. Well, look at what Krishna is saying here. Look at the words he's using here. No, they don't know. You have to hear from the devotee. There's a nice verse that describes that. To hear the secret from the devotee. Okay, it probably will come. Janma karma phal, pradam, resulting in good birth and other fruitive reactions. Kriya vishesha, pompous ceremonies. When you do the rituals, it's very pompous. It looks very attractive and beautiful. My dear Brahmana, what's the point of this? I don't know. It's not Krishna. So you just making it look pompous and elaborate, but you're missing the essential reason for all of it, which you yourself is not getting. Let's see the last words here. Bahulam, various bhoga, in sense enjoyment, aisvarya, and opulences, gatim, progress, pati, towards, translation. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas. You'll get people saying, hey, you ISKCON people, you don't pronounce the words properly. You don't know proper Sanskrit. Prabhupada was in Bombay once, and this one person actually said this to Prabhupada. Oh, Prabhupada, very nice, but your disciples don't pronounce the Sanskrit words clearly, and they don't have that the proper intonation for Vedic meter and Sanskrit. And then Prabhupada said, oh, okay, so can you come and teach them? And then he said, oh, okay, yes, I can teach them, I know. But before you come, you have to give up. Follow these 4 principles, and no tea, no chai, no coffee. Oh, Swamiji. So they have done that already. They have done that already. So this is the point. It's flowery, very nicely you can pronounce it, which is good. But if you're missing the point of like what Krishna is saying here, then you actually missed the boat. You missed it completely. Which recommended various fruitive activities. So there's so many things recommended in the Vedas. Now, if I want to actually know what is the essence of it, I'm expecting a Vedic authority to tell me. And yet, when you ask a Vedic authority, they are saying to do all these things. Flowery language, do this rituals. And Vyasadeva himself got caught in this. And that's why he missed the point. Until a devotee intervened. And then when the devotee intervenes, he gives him, this is, the point of it is Krishna. The point of it is Krishna. For elevation to heavenly planets, resulting in good birth. What is the value of good birth? You have it for 1 life, 10 lives. Does it mean you get out of the cycle of birth and death? Power, you may be a very powerful person. You may be a king one moment and a dog the next moment. So what is the value of one birth being so glorious? But one moment, Loba Matru Sadhu Sangha, with the devotee, one moment, he can change your life just like that and revive that dormant Krishna consciousness and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Look at Krishna's words here. There is nothing more than this. This is the goal of everything. Where did he mention Krishna here? Where is Krishna mentioned here as the object and the goal? So to drive this point, because this is the essence of what we being taught as Vedic knowledge. So I'm just going to, So this documentary here is called The Vedic Way. And let's see what actually...
Hello. What is the goal of life?
What is the goal of life?
If you ask this question to your friends or family members, you will be amazed by the answers that you get. Some will say, you should just earn money as much as you can and then enjoy as much as possible.
So we read that as the last line of that verse, right? This is the goal, opulence, to get what you want.
It's kind of sad because I've seen so many cases where people will work so hard for 10, 20 years to be millionaire, and then when finally they get it, they're so stressed and they have lost all their health, so they can't even enjoy the money. And then they are afraid of losing it. So it's so ridiculous. It's such a waste of time. Not having a goal and not understanding what's the purpose of human life is a very, very sad story. It's like being in the sea with no compass, being tossed and turned by the waves and not knowing where to go. So what is the Vedic understanding and what do the Vedas recommend to follow or to do in this life?
So what is the Vedic understanding? So let's see what he says and to what we just read now, okay?
Well, the goal of life for the Vedas is to understand oneself or self-realization.
So that part is okay, all right? Atma-gyan, to understand who you are.
To understand God or God realization.
And to understand who is God, okay, fine.
And to understand the relationship between me and God. These are fundamental topics, and if we dedicate enough time to understand them, we can actually be happy in this world. This is the goal of life according to the Vedas. So how can we achieve these goals? Well, to begin with, we need enough time to think about them and to read, to research and to look within ourselves to do some kind of spiritual practice to understand these things. It's very sad, but many times I ask people, what do you love doing? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't have a clue what I love doing. And this means that there has been no search within the soul to understand what fulfills me.
So they've just tried to accumulate, do the rituals to get what keeps life going, but they lose the essence of human life. The essence of human life is to come to the understanding of inquiry into who we are, Atma-gyan, and who God is, Krishna.
It's like denying oneself. So it is very important, although it might feel very painful, to think of these things and to research into the soul and research into who is God and who am I and what really fulfills my life. And once you do this work, you will see that then suddenly the sea becomes calm and then you have a very clear goal. And then even if you go very slowly, even if you take only one step at a time, you will reach that goal at the end of your life.
So this is what Krishna is doing here. First he presented Karma Kanda, now he's saying Karma Yoga. In the coming chapters he will do Jnana Yoga, and then he will present Bhakti. That's the gradual progression. But how long does that take? How long will it take? You can't do all that in one lifetime. So is there a speedway by which we can do all of these things and still get the highest goal? Yes, Prabhupada says that at the end of the purport, right? So let's see the Vedic. So unless you can chant like this, you're not going to know how what is the Vedic way.
The Hindu Vedas comprise a vast corpus of Sanskrit poetry, philosophical dialogue, myth and ritual incantations that were developed and composed in India by the Aryans over 3,500 years ago. Regarded by Hindus as the primary source of knowledge and the sacred foundation of their religion, the Vedas embody one of the world's oldest surviving cultural traditions.
Now you see how they chant, using the hand also to create the, to get a flow, and so that they know how it is, the oscillation, the way the sound is moving, intonation. So this is how Vedic mantras are chanted. One mistake, you see all of them are synchronized there. How long does it take to practice this?
Veda is derived from the Sanskrit word Ved, meaning knowledge. The Vedic heritage embraces a multitude of texts and interpretations that are collected in 4 Vedas, commonly referred to as books of knowledge, even though they have been transmitted orally. Veda is an anthology of sacred hymns. The Sama Veda features musical arrangements of hymns from the Rig Veda and other sources. The Yajur Veda abounds in prayers and sacrificial formulae used by priests. And the Adana Veda includes incantations and spells, artistic, scientific and philosophical notions, such as the concept of zero. Expressed in the elegant Vedic language, which derived from classical Sanskrit, the verses of the Vedas were traditionally chanted during sacred rituals and ceremonies, and recited daily in Vedic communities. Although these texts were recorded in writing 15 centuries ago for reference purposes, lies not only thousands of years from time, precise combinations.
So I just wanted to show you this part. It's very interesting how Vedic mantras are actually chanted. There's 8 different ways. So even if you want to learn how to chant, maybe you know one way, but as described, there are 8 different ways of chanting Vedic mantras. So let's see one of these.
Sounds. There are 8 models of pronunciation for Vedic chants. Here is one of them.
So there's 8 models. This is one of them.
Jatapata.
It's called Jatapata. Jatapata. It means to say the word, reverse it, backward, reverse it, and again say it again. So you hear that.
2 words repeated the right way round, and then backwards.
So you hear him, he's saying Deva Stani, Stani Deva, Deva Stani. Yeah, you see him saying it, reversing it again, saying it again. See, Adyan Nitya, Nitya, Dana, Dan Nitya.
Back and forth.
Yes, back and forth. It's like imprinting it in the brain, samskar. So that's just one way. Now, sounds a bit easy, but there are different other ways. And if you want to really get into the Vedas and the flowery aspect of it, if you imagine years and years of putting all this knowledge in, and you miss the point of understanding Krishna. This is the point of what we're discussing here. So, today's verses answers, it describes how that there are multi-levels in scripture. There are multi-levels to understanding. Like Krishna is using this technique. He first presented what is commonly understood and wanted by common people. They want opulence, artha. They want these things. So he says, okay, karma kant. But then he just defeated all that, what we've been hearing. He says, no, karma yoga is higher, and we just showed how. So in the conclusion of that argument, Krishna gives what we're discussing today, this well. So we saw that 42, 43 is really the essence of what he's saying. And to really give it a picture, he's given this example today of the well. So he gives it as a metaphor. Now there's many metaphors used in Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna himself uses many in nature. Even in this chapter, he uses two actually. In 67, he uses that of the wind and the storm. In verse 67, he uses the wind and the storm. In verse 58 of this chapter 2, he uses the tortoise and the shell. How you pull the senses inward. The tortoise and the shell. So it's metaphors used in nature. But like we're saying, today's verse is not found naturally in nature. It's created. It's man-made. So it makes it a little different. But he's deliberately done that to show this is part of an aspect that represents the Vedic culture. Now how is that so? He describes it, gives small results like a well compared to complete results like a river. We know the source of a river. The river gives a fabulous amount of water which is constantly flowing. I remember once we were in Radha Kund, and I had stayed over for, I think it was Bhishma Panchak, many years back. And the next morning we were taking bath in this nearby, and there's wells there. They have different wells. Now I didn't really know the culture. So I dropped my bucket in and picked out the water and immediately poured it into my bath bucket, and I started taking bath. And across there was a Babaji there, and he says, hey, oof. And all I know, he said something strong, Okay, Baba, Hare Krishna, Dandavat, And he says, no bath here, no snan, don't take snan here. Then I said, why did he stop me? And then when I asked another devotee, why did he do that? He says, well, you're taking bath and the water is bouncing off your body. And if it drops into the well, you've contaminated the whole well then. So he's saying, don't bath. If you want to bath further away. Don't bath next to the well. So one aspect of having different wells, we know purity is a major aspect of Vedic culture, to keep something pure. So like we do in our kitchen, we have the taps for maybe one part of the sink for washing, one part of the sink for washing vegetables, the other part for washing plates. What we do in the kitchen, we don't do that in the bathroom taps. There's different understandings of how to use. So wells were used like this. Drinking wells were here. Bathing wells were here. We even do that in our temple, We have 2 tanks of water here. We have the salt water comes, which is diffused into salt and sweet water. Actually, do you know how many liters of water it takes to make 1 drinking liter of water here at the temple? Anybody? 9. Yeah, it takes 9 liters of salt water to be 10 liters distilled, 9 liter gets waste, 1 liter sweet water comes out. It's quite a lot. So instead of wasting it, they put it into another storage tank, and that gets used to wash the temple yard. So similarly like that. So in Vedic culture also, wells were used like this: drinking well, bathing well, washing well, clothes for washing clothes, different wells like this. But Krishna's point is here, if you at a riverbed, then the water is constantly flowing. So there's no point of purification or making anything impure. You use water from where it is and as you require it. People are bathing upstream, people are washing downstream. There's no thought of it being contaminated or anything. It's flowing, the water is flowing. So Krishna is giving this analogy here. Yes, you can do both things, but here it's easier, it flows. Whereas the well, there's more restrictions and it's not so flowing. So Arjuna is thinking, well, if I take this other path that you're describing, karma yoga, then won't I lose something in this path? Because will I get all that artha? Will I get those opulent rewards like I'm getting in karma kanda? And Krishna is saying there's no loss. You'll get both. There's no loss or diminution. Pratyavayo na vidyate, salpamasya dharmasya trayate mahato. It is no loss or diminution. You can get both things that you want. So let's just see here. So we see here, this is a riverbed, right? And somebody is there on the canoe and it's coming down. People may be bathing or washing upstream or downstream. But it doesn't matter because the water is flowing. It's constantly flowing. So these people were collecting water.
So the work that we're doing here, that has a massive, massive impact on the indigenous community, the local tribe. They normally carry the water. It's about 200 metres actually from the actual water source.
So they were trying to see what it's like for people to carry water. Now we're lucky here, we get good water here, But in some parts of the world, like in Africa, even here in India, in Braj, many of them carry water. Now then you'll understand this metaphor very well. Because if water is flowing, it's very easy access. But if you had to carry it, do you know the strain of carrying water, what it's like? And ladies are the one who usually do this, and it's not easy. It's not at all easy. So they've taken a task to see what is it like to carry this water. So this was done at the Amazon side. Now this is a traditional, the example that we're hearing about today, how to collect the water. So this is a traditional way, they drop it down. Some have the pulley system. So you collect the water and the water fills up in the bucket, you pull it up. And as you pull it up, and then you decant it into another container. Now you know those are metal containers, so to carry that every day, how it would definitely be tough, So then you'll appreciate water. You'll appreciate this example and you'll appreciate water, right? So this is the example Krishna is given. So there's one more I wanted to show you. Yeah, there's it here. So this is in Africa, and this is how they carry heavy water bottles, plastic bottles, over many, many distances. So, you can see there, this is how they fill it in these drums, these plastic drums. You can see this lady, and I don't know how far she has to walk to get water. But if there was a river source nearby, there'll be everything that you want to get from a well, you'll get from there. But there's no river source. It's very, very far away. So people have to walk great distances to get it. Now, time has really run out. So after having said all of that and everything, what's the point of everything in today's class? The point is what Prabhupada has presented right at the end. And he's saying that yes, there's so many things that is given in the Vedas, but if you miss the essential point, Vedascha aham eva vedyo, I am the point of the Vedas, 15:15 Krishna has said. I am the goal of the Vedas. It's by me that the Vedas is to be known. But those who are, like we saw in 42 and 43, they are the Brahmanas, but they're not teaching this, that Krishna is the point. It's only the devotee that's presenting that. And then he's saying, okay, even if you know that now, how do you get Krishna then? What is the procedure to get Krishna? You know the purpose now. How do you get him? And would you go over and start studying all the mantras like we saw those Brahmanas do? How long would it take? What if you don't have that intonation, that accent? Then there's no hope. Then Prabhupada mentions about Lord Chaitanya. That Lord Chaitanya has come by propagating the holy name of the Lord, that everybody has a chance. Everybody has a chance just by chanting this holy name. And Prabhupada very interestingly gives that example. They're saying Lord Chaitanya told Prakashananda Saraswati, my Guru Maharaj told me I'm a fool. Why? Because I don't know the Vedic philosophy. And he just told me to chant Hare Krishna. And from that I'm feeling so ecstatic. So it's a slap on the face of the Brahmanas to say you have studied all the Vedas but you've missed the goal. And which is the story in the 10th canto in Krishna Lila that shows this the most? Yes, you there? Yes? Of the Brahmanas, yes. Thank you. So the wives of the Brahmanas. They're praying to Yagya Purush, please sacrifice. They're doing pujas and rituals and everything. And when the Yagya Purush comes there directly in person, they can't recognize him. So this is what bhakti does. Devotion, this is how Bhagavatam shows devotion, that it's beyond any caste, creed, beyond any form, animals even. Gajendra. When there's devotion in the heart, then Krishna breaks all social boundaries, all castes and creeds and all the things that separate people is all broken at the level of bhakti. So it's a very powerful verse today, although it's the end part of the point that Krishna is making. He's just used it as a metaphor, but the point he's trying to make, if you study the Vedas and if you don't come to the understanding of Krishna and serve him by chanting his holy names in this age of Kali, you've missed everything. You've missed the whole point. So we'll stop there. It's after 6. Anybody have any questions or comments? Feel free. We have a mic here also. Can just see if anybody wants to ask anything. We have 2 minutes. Yeah? Okay. Can you pass the mic that way? Thank you.
I was just going to make
You got to switch it. Thank you.
I was just going to make the comment that because it was saying, I guess, in the purport how so many, in order to be able to chant the holy name, that you've done so many sacrifices, performed so many austerities. So some of Prabhupada's disciples asked him, they said, so Prabhupada, we've done all this, and Prabhupada said, I have created your pious activities.
Yes. That was in, Prabhupada, in Radharaman temple they mentioned once, when the devotees came in the earlier days, and they mentioned that, you like Krishna consciousness and you like to see the deity of Radharaman, well, you can be a pujari here and you pray hard in your next life. And then they went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada listened. And then he said, so you go and tell them, well, if you pray, do your pujari seva very well, then in the next life you can take birth in America and be part of Lord Chaitanya's rule. So, yeah, nice point, it's true. Yes, please.
In ISKCON, also we are following some Vedic rituals
Hmm.
and practices like the time of initiation. and all.
Yes.
So is it really necessary to do that?
That is part of the Pancharatrika Vidhi, what we follow. But what we do follow is the essence of what is done, and it's always connected to Krishna through the practice of the holy name. When Prabhupada established this temple, then he didn't want to do all those extracurricular activities of the yagya and everything. He felt it wasn't really needed. The holy name alone was enough, the sankirtan, the kirtan. But he had to do it, otherwise the local people won't come to the temple. Because the locals would say, well, this wasn't established in the proper Vedic way. And because of that, he had to do the whole procedure.
And also, I think it is said somewhere, where I read, Prabhupada has also said that unless you are completely purified, you must follow all these processes. That is also right.
Well, I will have to see that. But we know we are being purified by the chanting process. If we do, actually a side effect, in Harinam Chintamani, it's described that a side effect of chanting offensive with offenses is that you get opulence. Even if you chant with offenses, so one devotee was saying, where's the proof of this? Well, he says, you don't see all the Indian pujaris going to America and making money there, and coming back and building big houses in Vrindavan and Mayapur? So this was a comment being made. So even if you chant with offense, the side effect of that is opulence. So that's why Krishna told Arjuna, don't fear. Arjuna was, if I do this karma yoga, what you're telling me now, would I lose out? Just in case now, I have something to go back to. Because at the end of the day, being conditioned, we'll want some kind of material security. And Krishna is saying, don't worry about that. That is just a byproduct side effect of what I really want to give you, bhakti. This is completely a secondary thing. And the story of Dhruva Maharaj shows this. Hankering with such determination. Mahaprabhu heard this pastime 100 times just because of the determination of that devotee. And when he saw Lord Vishnu, he says, this is like broken pieces of glass I'm going after here. It's totally insignificant. So bhakti is the highest level, and it's being expressed through Krishna's teaching technique as a guru here, gradually, very gradually. We're only on the second level now of the yoga ladder. And it's gradually going, we're on the second chapter, so we're gradually moving up. But you can see immediately, especially in this last few verses we did, Krishna is immediately shifting to saying, Arjuna, I'm giving you a higher teaching now. It's not only Swarga anymore. It's not only the heavenly planets that you'll get. That argument I gave you before, but now I'm defeating that and establishing a new argument. Something even higher than that. And that even is not bhakti yet. When you do get to bhakti, then Krishna can't restrain himself from speaking. Because in that state, he gives himself to the devotee. He gives himself to the devotee. So, we'll end on this point. I was reading, what is it? I think Gopal Champu. And the story of Putana is there. And Putana came to kill Krishna. And when she came in that disguise, but due to her offering milk, Krishna accepted. And once he grabbed onto her, then the acharyas give a very sweet point there. They say when Krishna grabs onto you, he'll never let go. So that's why he closed his eyes, to tell Putana, sorry Devi, but when I grab onto somebody, especially my devotee, I never let go. I never let go. So we have started the process now, and Krishna has grabbed onto us due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And now he will not let go of us. He will gradually develop us. Like Queen Kunti is praying, constantly refine me. Do whatever is necessary you see fit for this fallen soul. Do whatever is necessary you see fit. So we are evolving gradually, and we are getting to that goal by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, and especially Srila Prabhupada. None of this would have been possible otherwise. Anybody else? Yeah? Okay, we should stop there. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande.